unusual activity here. An isolated planet had apparently developed a surprising level of technology without any help from the outside galaxy. For Thrax, a seasoned explorer, this was both exciting and a little unnerving. "Report, Commander Yellen," Thrax ordered, turning his single large eye toward the science station, where the crew was busy analyzing scans of the system. Yellen, a creature with spindly limbs and a membrane that shimmered in waves, squinted at his data. "Sir, we've identified multiple artificial structures orbiting the third planet. They appear to be a mix of habitation modules and defensive installations, but we're not detecting any faster-than-light travel signatures." Thrax's interest was piqued. A species advanced enough to develop extensive orbital infrastructure but without FTL capabilities was a rarity. Most civilizations tended to leap into FTL travel as soon as they achieved space colonization. "Interesting. Have they detected us yet?" "Uncertain," replied Yellen, tapping his long, pointed fingers over a holographic console. "Their tech level suggests they should be able to detect any ship entering the system, but there's no evidence of direct observation yet. However," Yellen's voice lowered with a hint of disbelief, "their communications networks are bustling, suggesting they're on high alert. They may have already noticed our arrival." Thrax shifted slightly, a ripple coursing through his gelatinous form. "Fascinating. Open a standard first contact channel. Let's announce our presence in a manner they'll understand." A moment later, the Luminary's communications officer, Lyra, transmitted the consortium's prepared message, designed to convey peace and exploration in a language the humans would be able to interpret. As they awaited a response, Thrax studied the image of the planet on the view screen. The third planet was beautiful, a vibrant world of blues and greens. It was startlingly alive, and his experience with other civilizations told him such planets were increasingly rare. Perhaps that explained why these humans were so guarded. If they knew what the galaxy was like, they would cling fiercely to such a world. The response when it came was swift and unexpected. "This is Commander Aaron Chen of Earth's Orbital Defense. Unidentified vessel, you have entered restricted space. Identify yourself and state your purpose immediately." Thrax was taken aback by the tone, feeling an odd sensation of discomfort ripple through him. The humans were direct, almost aggressive. This was not the tentative response of a civilization unprepared for first contact. They sounded suspicious, wary, and ready to act. "Commander Chen, I am Captain Thrax of the Galactic Consortium, aboard the Luminary. We come as explorers and diplomats, seeking to initiate first contact with your species and establish peaceful relations." There was a moment of silence before Chen replied, her voice steady but steely. "Captain Thrax, while we acknowledge your peaceful intentions, your unannounced arrival has raised considerable alarm on our planet. You are requested to remain in your current position while our representatives discuss the appropriate next steps." The transmission ended abruptly, and Thrax felt the weight of tension settle across the bridge. His crew exchanged glances, their appendages flickering with nervous energy. Lyra leaned toward him, her voice low. "They're unusually guarded, Captain. Most pre-FTL civilizations display excitement, or at least curiosity, when encountering alien life. These humans are treating us like a potential threat." "Indeed," Thrax replied thoughtfully. "Perhaps their history has made them cautious. I've read some preliminary reports. Humans are known for a remarkable tenacity and resilience, but such wariness in first contact, that's unusual." As his crew resumed monitoring Earth's defensive systems and communications networks, Thrax found himself pondering this unusual reaction. The humans seemed as prepared for conflict as they were curious about the stars. It was both intriguing and unsettling. He had been briefed on various possible outcomes of first contact, but humanity's readiness for potential hostilities was unexpected. "Captain, further scans indicate that the humans have several military satellites equipped with projectile weapons and energy-based defenses," Yellen reported. "It's surprising for a pre-FTL species to maintain such extensive orbital defenses." Thrax felt a chill spread through his form, something he rarely experienced. "They have prepared for threats from space, but how could they have anticipated us?" Yellen hesitated, his membrane flickering with uncertainty. "Perhaps they've experienced enough internal conflict to expect external threats as well." The bridge hummed with quiet activity as the crew continued to monitor Earth's response. The humans were uncommonly cautious, and Thrax knew he would need to exercise patience. "Open a direct line with the Consortium High Council," he said finally. "They should be informed of this species' defensive stance." As Lyra worked to connect with the High Council, Thrax continued observing the distant Earth, his mind racing with questions. Why were these humans so defensive? Most worlds his crew had visited were eager to join the galactic community, to learn and share knowledge. Yet Earth seemed more interested in protecting itself. A few moments later, Lyra signaled that the Council was online. Thrax relayed his findings, emphasizing humanity's defensiveness and apparent readiness for conflict. The Council members, seasoned leaders from various consortium species, appeared equally puzzled. "Captain Thrax," came the voice of High Chancellor Valen, her crystalline tone resonant and firm. "Your findings suggest caution, but we still believe this species should be approached peacefully. Humanity may be guarding their planet due to their own history, as many younger species do. They've simply never encountered an interstellar civilization. We will support your continued diplomatic efforts." Thrax acknowledged the order, although a lingering sense of unease remained. The Council's confidence was comforting, but he could not shake the feeling that humanity would not respond predictably. Already, Earth's defenses had proven they were prepared for a threat beyond their world, a fact that unnerved him more with each passing moment. As the luminary drifted in orbit, waiting for Earth's next response, Thrax's mind remained restless. There was something about these humans, something that went beyond their technology or their defensive readiness. It was as though an unspoken resolve, a fierce determination, hung in the air around their world. For the first time in his long career of exploration, Thrax felt a creeping uncertainty. These humans were different, and he would need to tread carefully. As the luminary held its position on the edge of Earth's orbit, Captain Thrax waited for an update from Earth's leaders. Hours passed with little word, save for an occasional communication from Commander Chen, who insisted they remain stationary while Earth's governing body deliberated. Thrax found himself unsettled. First contact typically involved open curiosity or cautious excitement. Here he was faced with a restrained, calculated silence that seemed almost hostile. He watched Earth's surface on the view screen, aware of the millions of lives below, and wondered what had shaped this species into one so prepared for confrontation. A message from Earth came through at last, but it wasn't a greeting. President Alex Kane, Earth's representative and leader, appeared on the screen. His gaze was unflinching, his presence formidable. With a calm and controlled tone, he began to speak. "Captain Thrax of the Luminary, I am President Kane, representative of the United Nations and of Earth. Our world has discussed your arrival, and while we understand that first contact is a historic moment, your unannounced appearance here has placed us on high alert." Thrax offered a respectful nod, though Kane's words weighed heavily. "President Kane, we come as emissaries of peace from the Galactic Consortium. Our purpose is to extend an invitation to join the interstellar community and benefit from centuries of shared knowledge and resources. It is a path to mutual growth." President Kane's expression did not soften. "We appreciate your offer. However, I must inform you that humanity has been shaped by a long history of conflict and conquest. We are not strangers to struggle, Captain, and we have developed a cautious approach to foreign powers, especially those capable of obliterating our defenses in a single strike." Thrax paused, feeling an unfamiliar sensation of unease ripple through him. The High Command had briefed him on humanity's reputation for resilience, but this display of fortitude exceeded his expectations. "Understandable, Mr. President," he replied carefully. "It was not our intention to provoke such caution. We are here in good faith." Kane nodded, though his expression remained unreadable. "Our council has taken a vote, Captain. Earth will remain open to diplomatic relations with your consortium, provided there is no threat to our sovereignty. We have worked tirelessly to unite our people and advance as a society, and we will not sacrifice our hard-earned independence." Thrax listened closely, his gelatinous form tense as he processed Kane's response. The consortium valued cooperation and unification across species, but this level of self-reliance and guardedness was unexpected. He realized that humanity would not yield easily, not even in the face of interstellar power. Shortly after the conversation with President Kane concluded, Thrax received a direct communication from the Consortium High Council. High Chancellor Valen's image flickered onto his console, her crystal features reflecting a stoic, almost unyielding expression. "Captain Thrax, we have analyzed your recent findings and reviewed Earth's reaction. They are a strong-willed species, yes, but such defiance poses potential risks. High Chancellor, I must note that while the humans are cautious, I do not believe they have displayed aggression," Thrax replied, hoping to advocate for continued diplomacy. Valen's gaze remained fixed. Perhaps, Captain, but the consortium has seen civilizations like this before. Independent, fiercely protective of their territories. They have a tendency to disrupt the delicate balance of galactic peace. To that end, the Council has chosen a more direct approach. Thrax stiffened, his central eye widening. High Chancellor, a direct approach? Yes, Valen confirmed, her voice measured. You are to deliver an ultimatum to the humans. Earth must agree to join the consortium as a protectorate under our guidance. They will retain their sovereignty in matters of culture, but must comply with our directives on matters of security and interstellar affairs. This will require disarming their military installations and sharing their technological advancements. We believe this is in their best interest and in the interest of galactic stability. Thrax felt an acute dread settle in his core. This was no diplomatic invitation but a demand for submission. He had seen other worlds respond to such ultimatums with fear, acquiescing without question, but humanity, he suspected, would not react the same way. High Chancellor, he began cautiously, the humans have shown resilience and self-reliance. This ultimatum may be perceived as an attempt to colonize rather than cooperate. They could resist. Then they will have to learn the reality of the galaxy, Valen replied, her tone unyielding. Deliver the ultimatum, Captain. Make it clear that refusal will not be tolerated. The transmission ended, leaving Thrax to grapple with the implications. He knew his duty was to obey, but the conversation with President Kane lingered in his mind. Humanity, for all its apparent primitiveness, had a spirit that could make submission an unlikely outcome. Thrax took a steadying breath and ordered the communications team to prepare a channel. Moments later, President Kane's face appeared on the screen once more, calm but wary. Captain Thrax, back so soon? With a heavy heart, Thrax began to speak. President Kane, I bring an official decree from the Galactic Consortium. Earth is to join as a protectorate under our guidance. This requires the dismantling of your military capabilities and the integration of your technology with our systems. In return, Earth will receive protection and access to our knowledge and resources. Refusal, however, may result in actions we would prefer to avoid. A long silence fell over the line as Kane absorbed the weight of Thrax's words. The tension in the room was palpable, each member of the Luminary's bridge crew exchanging wary glances. Then Kane finally spoke, his voice low and filled with unmistakable resolve. So your offer of peace was merely a guise for subjugation? He asked, his tone colder than before. You enter our system uninvited, claim you come in peace, and then demand that we surrender control of our defenses and technology. Captain, we have faced oppression before, but always from our own kind. It seems the galaxy too holds those who believe might makes right. Mr. President, I assure you this is not an act of aggression, Thrax replied, his voice strained with discomfort. The consortium wishes only for harmony. However, your strength and independence raise concerns. Such qualities, if left unchecked, could lead to future conflicts. Kane's expression hardened. The only conflict we see is the one your consortium is forcing upon us. We have chosen peace, but not at the cost of our freedom. If you believe that your superior technology entitles you to our submission, then I'm afraid you've misjudged the character of humanity. Thrax felt the cold sting of realization. This was not a species that would yield. As the transmission ended, he sat in silence, his mind whirling. Earth had just refused the consortium's ultimatum, an act that could only lead to one outcome: confrontation. As he sat back, Thrax was struck by a thought he hadn't considered before. In its insistence on compliance, the consortium had perhaps ignored the one thing that made Earth dangerous. Humans didn't fear what was stronger than them. They had survived, thrived, and advanced not because of peace, but because of resilience. This planet's history had forged them into beings who would not bow, even to forces far greater than themselves. Thrax, for the first time, questioned the consortium's mandate. He couldn't ignore the fear that they were about to unleash a force they didn't fully understand, a force that had just shown the courage to stand against the galaxy. In the moments after Earth's defiant rejection of the consortium's ultimatum, an unsettling silence settled over the Luminary's bridge. Captain Thrax sat motionless, processing what had just transpired. He had delivered the consortium's demands, and Earth had answered with a resounding refusal. Humanity would not submit, not even under the threat of galactic reprisal. Thrax glanced at his crew, seeing his own uncertainty mirrored in their eyes. They had expected fear, perhaps even desperation, from a species so technologically behind the consortium. Instead, Earth had responded with a courage that unsettled him more than open hostility ever could. As Thrax pondered their next steps, a transmission came through from High Chancellor Valen. Her crystalline form flickered on the view screen, sharp and unyielding. "Captain Thrax, we have reviewed Earth's response. The Council has authorized an escalation. You are to proceed with an initial show of force to compel compliance. Begin by deploying our weapon systems within their orbit to make it clear we mean business. The humans will see that resistance is futile." Thrax felt a pang of doubt, but knew better than to question the High Chancellor's orders. "Understood, High Chancellor. We will commence immediately." The transmission ended, leaving Thrax and his crew with a sobering task. He turned to his weapons officer, a slender insectoid being named Kint, who was already preparing the necessary protocols. "Activate the orbital arrays, Kint," Thrax ordered, his voice carrying a weight he rarely felt. "Target their primary defense satellites. Let's give them a taste of consortium power, but avoid civilian targets. We are here to impose order, not create unnecessary casualties." Kint nodded, his mandibles clicking as he coordinated with the Luminary's weapon systems. Within moments, the ship's weapon arrays powered up, targeting the Earth's orbital defenses. A low hum filled the bridge as the Luminary's advanced plasma cannons aligned, their energy readings surging. The consortium's ships rarely needed to demonstrate their power so openly, but Earth's defiance had left them with no choice. As the first plasma pulse fired, Thrax watched the view screen, expecting Earth's defense network to crumble under the consortium's superior firepower. But as the beam streaked toward its target, a powerful energy field suddenly surged around the satellite, absorbing the blast with surprising ease. Thrax's single large eye widened. "What in the void?" he murmured, feeling a ripple of unease spread through his gelatinous form. Kint, equally shocked, scrambled to adjust the targeting systems. "Captain, their satellites are emitting some form of energy shield, one far stronger than anything we anticipated." They were ready for this. The Luminary's bridge buzzed with tension as the crew watched Earth's defensive grid light up in response. One by one, the satellites powered on, and the dark void of space around Earth was suddenly filled with the glinting, ominous shapes of heavily armed satellites. Thrax couldn't believe what he was seeing. Earth had somehow anticipated an extraterrestrial threat, and had built a network of defensive weapons to match. Before he could process this, an alarm blared across the bridge. "Captain," shouted Yellen from the science console, "Earth has deployed countermeasures. They're targeting us." In seconds, a hail of kinetic projectiles and laser pulses erupted from Earth's orbit, streaking toward the Luminary and the other consortium ships stationed nearby. The Luminary's shields absorbed the brunt of the assault, but the impacts were stronger than anything Thrax had anticipated. The ship shook violently as the blasts resonated through the hull, leaving him momentarily speechless. He had seen planetary defenses before, but never anything of this scale or effectiveness from a pre-FTL civilization. "Shields holding at 70%, Kint reported, though his voice wavered. "But the humans are sustaining their attack. They're not backing down." As the bridge lights flickered from the relentless impacts, Thrax felt a sense of dread settling in. Earth wasn't merely defending itself, it was fighting back with an intensity that went beyond simple survival. This was a message, a declaration of humanity's resolve. "Deploy evasive maneuvers," Thrax ordered, gripping the armrests of his chair tightly. "They've prepared for this. We need to reassess our approach." He watched as the Luminary's engines roared to life, propelling the ship into a series of rapid defensive maneuvers. The consortium ships scrambled, repositioning to avoid the continuous barrage from Earth's defenses. But humanity's show of force was far from over. A message crackled through the comms, a transmission from Commander Chen. Her face appeared on the view screen, eyes steely, her tone unwavering. "To the Galactic Consortium forces, you have underestimated Earth's resolve and its capabilities. This is your final warning. Cease your hostile actions and withdraw from our system, or you will face the full measure of our defenses. We will not surrender our world." The bridge of the Luminary fell silent as Chen's words echoed. Thrax felt the gravity of the situation pressing down on him. He had been prepared for resistance, but this was beyond anything the consortium had encountered. Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was prepared to retaliate, to turn its technological might against an interstellar power without hesitation. High Chancellor Valen's voice rang in his earpiece, breaking the tense silence. "Captain Thrax, this level of defiance is intolerable. The Council has authorized a full tactical response. Neutralize their defenses and bring the system under control." With a reluctant nod, Thrax relayed the orders. He steeled himself, knowing what this escalation could mean. Kint, prepare all weapon systems. Target their key installations. But before they could fire, Earth's forces launched a new counterattack. From hidden bases on the moon's surface, a series of high-energy particle beams lashed out, catching consortium ships off guard. Several smaller ships were struck, their shields faltering under the unexpected assault. The luminary's sensors went haywire, struggling to keep up with the sudden surge of hostile energy signatures. "Captain, these energy readings, they're off the charts," Yellen shouted over the noise. "Earth's technology is far more advanced than we estimated. They have particle weapons, magnetic railguns, and energy shields far stronger than anything a pre-FTL civilization should possess." Thrax watched as the consortium's fleet reeled from the assault. Human ships, small but highly maneuverable, emerged from behind lunar installations and hidden orbital stations, moving with agility that the consortium's bulky vessels struggled to match. The consortium had anticipated a quick show of force, not a full-scale battle with a species that clearly knew how to defend itself. With each passing moment, Thrax's respect for humanity grew, mingling with a newfound sense of fear. The humans were proving themselves far more than mere defenders. They were tacticians, warriors honed by a history of internal conflicts and constant challenges. Every countermeasure Earth deployed seemed meticulously planned, each one revealing another layer of human ingenuity and readiness. "Captain Thrax," Valen's voice cut through the chaos again, her tone tense. "Withdraw your forces for now. This situation requires further analysis." Thrax felt a wave of relief, despite the disappointment in Valen's voice. "Yes, High Chancellor." Initiating retreat maneuvers, the Luminary and the remaining consortium ships began to pull back, retreating from Earth's orbit as they regrouped at a safer distance. From the safety of space, Thrax looked back at the small blue planet, now bristling with defenses that shimmered against the darkness. Earth had withstood the consortium's power, forcing them into a retreat for the first time in recent history. As the luminary drifted away, Thrax realized the truth that the consortium had overlooked. Earth's people would fight, not because they were hostile, but because they had a profound love for their world and a defiant will that the galaxy had yet to understand. In their pursuit of galactic order, the consortium had awoken a force more dangerous than they could have ever imagined. A force that would not back down, not even in the face of overwhelming odds. Captain Thrax's retreating ships returned to the consortium's staging grounds on the far side of Earth's solar system. The silence on the Luminary's bridge was thick with unease, each crew member processing the reality of what had just occurred. Earth had not only defended itself, but had done so with a tenacity and resourcefulness that had forced the consortium to pull back, a feat few, if any, pre-FTL civilizations had ever achieved. Thrax found himself haunted by the resolve he'd seen in Earth's defenses. The consortium's assumptions had been shattered, and yet they were far from ready to yield. Before long, another communication came through from High Chancellor Valen, her crystalline form flickering on the screen with a hardened expression. "Captain Thrax," she began, her tone cold, "the Council has convened, and we have determined that this human resistance must be neutralized immediately. Their defiance poses a direct threat to our established order, and if they inspire other species to resist, the consortium's unity may fracture." Thrax listened, his apprehension deepening. "High Chancellor, with all due respect, Earth's defenses are formidable, and their people are prepared for conflict. A full assault may only galvanize them further." Valen's gaze did not soften. "Our intelligence suggests that Earth's technological advancements remain isolated. We cannot allow them time to strengthen their alliances or further develop their arsenal. The Council has authorized a total planetary assault. You will lead our forces in dismantling their defenses and subduing any resistance." Thrax's heart sank as the directive sunk in. This was no longer a mission of peaceful integration, but one of domination. He had always trusted the consortium's principles of diplomacy and mutual cooperation. But here, faced with Earth's resilience, the Council seemed willing to abandon those ideals. Suppressing a surge of doubt, he nodded. "Understood, High Chancellor. We will proceed with the assault." Within hours, the consortium's fleet mobilized, taking up positions around Earth's orbit. Massive dreadnoughts, bristling with weapons, hovered ominously above the planet, their powerful cannons trained on Earth's defenses. Thrax took a deep breath, issuing orders with a heavy heart. All ships prepare for coordinated strikes. Target their orbital defenses first and neutralize their communication networks. We'll press forward with ground incursions once their defenses are weakened. As the Luminary's engines hummed, Thrax couldn't shake the memory of his encounter with President Kane and Commander Chen. These humans weren't blindly defiant. They were fiercely protective of their world, determined to safeguard their freedom. It was a quality that even now, Thrax found himself respecting. Yet he was bound by his duty, and as the countdown to engagement began, he resolved to see his mission through. The first volley of the assault commenced with the flash of energy pulses and kinetic projectiles slicing through space toward Earth's defenses. Explosions erupted around the orbiting satellites, some of them crumbling under the sheer firepower of the Consortium's cannons. But just as the Consortium forces began to gain ground, Earth's counterattack erupted with renewed force. From hidden silos on the moon and deep within Earth's atmosphere, human forces launched retaliatory strikes. High-powered missiles, electromagnetic pulses, and laser beams streaked through the darkness, hitting Consortium ships with pinpoint accuracy. Some of the dreadnoughts shuddered under the impact, their shields flickering as Earth's defenses dug deeper into their protective fields. "Shields at 80%, Captain," reported Kint, his mandibles clicking with tension. "Their countermeasures are more intense than projected. They're adapting faster than we anticipated." Thrax watched the view screen, mesmerized by the relentless ferocity of Earth's response. The humans were not merely defending, they were actively counterattacking, finding ways to exploit weaknesses in the Consortium's formation. In every other conflict he'd witnessed, the defending side faltered under pressure, but humanity's resolve seemed only to intensify. Another transmission from Earth appeared on the view screen. This time, President Kane stood flanked by military officials, their expressions hard as steel. Kane's voice was unwavering. "To the Galactic Consortium, you may have superior technology, but make no mistake, our people have endured, adapted, and survived through millennia of hardship. We do not fear you. We will not surrender our home." As Kane's words rang out, the Consortium's fleet intensified its assault, sending waves of energy pulses and kinetic bombardments toward Earth's defenses. Explosions lit up the sky as ground-based defense systems intercepted the incoming projectiles, while human ships darted between Consortium vessels, engaging in daring hit-and-run tactics. Each strike was meticulously planned, as if humanity had been waiting for this moment all along. On board the Luminary, Thrax's respect for humanity continued to grow. These humans were more than just technologically advanced. They were resilient, resourceful, and driven by an unbreakable spirit. But the Consortium's orders were clear, and Thrax knew that failure was not an option. "Continue the assault," he commanded, his voice carrying a note of reluctance. "Focus on disabling their primary defenses. We need to breach their atmosphere." As the battle raged, an urgent message came from Commander Yellen. "Captain, long-range sensors are picking up signals from other star systems. It appears that Earth's conflict is not going unnoticed. Ships from nearby planets are converging on our position, likely drawn by the transmissions Earth has broadcast across the region." Thrax's eye widened. "Are they allies of Earth?" Yellen shook his head. "Unknown, Captain, but some of these species have been oppressed by the Consortium for years. This show of defiance may have inspired them." The ramifications hit Thrax immediately. Earth's resistance was becoming a symbol, sparking hope among species across the region. If this rebellion spread, the Consortium's authority could be destabilized. High Chancellor Valen's earlier warning echoed in his mind. Earth's defiance, if left unchecked, could ripple outward, threatening the Consortium's grip on the galaxy. As Consortium forces redoubled their efforts, Earth's defensive grid continued to hold strong. Human ships, nimble and surprisingly well-armed, weaved through the Consortium's formations, exploiting every gap, every weakness. Meanwhile, reports flooded in from Consortium Command, alerting them to uprisings on other worlds, all inspired by Earth's stand against an overwhelmingly superior force. In a final act of desperation, Thrax ordered a full-on assault on Earth's surface. "All ground forces prepare for planetary incursion. We must force them into submission." The order resonated through the fleet, but before the ground assault could begin, Earth's defenses unleashed their final weapon. From hidden bunkers deep within Earth's crust, a massive electromagnetic pulse surged into orbit, targeting the heart of the Consortium's fleet. The pulse shorted out shields, disabled weapon systems, and left several ships vulnerable. Chaos erupted as the Luminary and other vessels struggled to reboot their systems. Earth had anticipated this exact scenario and had unleashed a defense measure that was both simple and devastatingly effective. It wasn't a weapon of destruction, but one of disarmament, a tactical move that stripped the consortium of its technological superiority. As Thrax's systems came back online, he looked out at the scene unfolding before him. Consortium ships were limping, their weapon systems down, shields barely functional. Earth's forces seized the advantage, launching a coordinated assault on the disoriented consortium fleet. It was then that Thrax realized the battle had changed. Earth wasn't fighting to defend. It was fighting to drive the consortium away. Humanity's resilience had inspired an alliance of species, and this moment, this stand against galactic oppression, was no longer about one world, but a movement for freedom. High Chancellor Valen's final transmission cut through the comms. Captain Thrax, retreat and regroup. This conflict is evolving beyond our control. We must reconsider our approach. The Luminary's engines roared as it joined the retreat, drifting back from Earth's orbit. Thrax looked one last time at the small, defiant world that had stood against the galaxy. In that moment, he understood that Earth had become more than just a planet. It was a beacon, a symbol of resistance that would change the galaxy forever. As the Luminary and the remaining consortium ships regrouped at a safe distance from Earth's orbit, Captain Thrax's thoughts were plagued by humanity's resilience. Earth had stood its ground, not only defending its home but actively driving back the consortium's forces. Never in his career had Thrax encountered a species so unyielding, so willing to fight against impossible odds. Humanity was supposed to be a primitive civilization, yet their ingenuity and strategy had turned them into a force that even the consortium found challenging. High Chancellor Valen's voice crackled over the comms once again, her tone filled with frustration and disbelief. Captain Thrax, this situation is no longer about simply bringing Earth under control. We now face a full-scale rebellion across multiple systems. Reports indicate that the conflict here has sparked uprisings in at least 7 neighboring planets. Earth's resistance has become an inspiration, a rallying cry for those who see the consortium as oppressors. Thrax felt a pang of something he had rarely felt before, pride in humanity. Despite his loyalty to the consortium, he couldn't help but admire Earth's defiance. High Chancellor, these humans, they are unlike any species we've encountered. Their unity, their strength, this is no ordinary resistance. They seem prepared to defend their way of life at any cost, which is why we cannot allow their defiance to continue, Valen replied, her voice colder than ever. If Earth continues to hold out, it will undermine the consortium's authority throughout the galaxy. We have one final option, Captain. I want you to lead a strike team and initiate a full ground incursion on their planet. This must end here. Before Thrax could respond, another alert blared through the Luminary's bridge. Long-range sensors detected a fleet of human ships emerging from hidden locations around Mars and the asteroid belt. Earth wasn't simply defending itself, it was launching an offensive. From concealed bases, an armada of warships, sleek, agile, and armed with cutting-edge technology, descended upon the consortium's fleet, catching them off guard. They're attacking us, Yellen gasped, disbelief etched across his translucent face. Captain, Earth has launched a counteroffensive. These ships, they were hidden in the asteroid belt and on Mars all along. Thrax's central eye widened in astonishment. Humanity had not only anticipated the consortium's assault, but had laid a trap, positioning hidden forces across the solar system in preparation for this very moment. The consortium had come expecting a quick, decisive victory, only to find themselves outmaneuvered by a supposedly primitive civilization. The Luminary's scanners revealed the sheer scale of Earth's hidden fleet. Thousands of ships, ranging from small fighter craft to massive carriers, were advancing on the consortium's formation with military precision. Some ships even displayed advanced cloaking technology, slipping past the consortium's sensors with ease. Captain, their ships are coordinating with pinpoint accuracy, reported Kint, his mandibles clicking nervously. They're using a tactic we've never seen before. They're engaging us on multiple fronts, disrupting our formations. The consortium fleet attempted to regroup, but Earth's ships struck relentlessly, exploiting every weakness with ruthless efficiency. A large hulking warship, Earth's flagship, adorned with insignias representing the planet's unified military, appeared on the Luminary's view screen. Thrax recognized the emblem immediately. It was the United Earth Defense Fleet, Earth's newly formed alliance of nations, working together to protect their home. As Earth's flagship closed in on the Luminary, a transmission came through. President Kane's face appeared, his expression one of fierce determination. Captain Thrax, you entered our system uninvited, demanded our submission, and attacked our home. You have underestimated us for the last time. Earth is not a weak or divided planet. We are united, and we are ready to defend ourselves and our allies. Thrax felt a surge of dread as Kane's words resonated through the bridge. This wasn't just about Earth anymore. It was a declaration of war, a stand against the Consortium's dominance. As the human fleet advanced, the Luminaries' bridge was filled with the frantic sounds of alarms and crew members scrambling to recalibrate weapons. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers," Thrax shouted, his voice taut with urgency. "All ships fall back and regroup. Do not engage directly. These humans are too well prepared." But Earth's fleet showed no mercy. Human warships struck with an intensity and coordination that defied the Consortium's expectations. They deployed magnetic railguns, precision-guided missiles, and directed energy weapons that sliced through the Consortium's shielding systems. The Consortium ships, built for imposing power but not agile defense, struggled against the tactical onslaught. In the midst of the chaos, a new development unfolded. Several alien vessels, clearly not of Earth's origin, appeared on the Consortium's scanners. At first, Thrax thought they might be reinforcements, but his hopes were dashed when the alien ships began attacking the Consortium's forces alongside Earth's fleet. These ships bore the markings of other planets within the Consortium's territories, worlds that had quietly suffered under its rule, but were now rising in rebellion, inspired by Earth's defiance. "Captain," Yellen reported, his voice a mix of astonishment and horror. "Reports are flooding in from across the galaxy. It's not just Earth. Species from multiple systems are joining the fight. They're rallying to Earth's cause." Thrax's gaze hardened. He could feel the tides of history shifting before his very eyes. What had begun as a simple mission to integrate a primitive world into the Consortium had become a galactic rebellion. Earth's spirit of resistance had spread, igniting hope in worlds long oppressed by the Consortium's iron-fisted rule. As the human and allied fleets pressed their attack, the Consortium's once mighty armada began to buckle under the combined assault. Thrax could see the desperation on his crew's faces, their uncertainty about the fight they were now trapped in. Earth's rebellion was more than just a military victory. It was a revelation, a testament to the indomitable human will that had lit a spark across the galaxy. High Chancellor Valen's transmission cut through the chaos. "Captain Thrax, withdraw immediately. The Council has ordered a full retreat. We must reassess our approach to this rebellion. The humans have brought our authority into question, and we cannot allow further losses." Thrax took a steadying breath, acknowledging the command with a nod. "All ships, retreat from the system. We're leaving Earth, for now." As the Consortium fleet turned to flee, Thrax looked back at the small, resilient planet that had changed everything. Earth had not only survived the Consortium's assault, but had launched a counterattack that had driven an interstellar power into retreat. Humanity had achieved the impossible, and in doing so, had inspired countless worlds to stand up for their own freedom. As the Luminaries' engines powered up, preparing for faster-than-light travel, Thrax felt an unfamiliar sense of awe for humanity. They had taken a stand, not only for themselves but for every species that yearned to break free from the Consortium's rule. Earth's victory was a signal that resonated across the galaxy, a message that even the most powerful empire could not suppress the will of those who sought freedom. The Consortium's retreat marked a turning point, one that would ripple through history. Earth's defiance, its relentless pursuit of sovereignty, had exposed the Consortium's vulnerabilities and inspired a new order. And as Thrax's ship sped away, he knew that the galaxy would never be the same. The Consortium fleet retreated in disarray, humbled and reeling from the unexpected might of Earth and its newfound allies. As the luminary sped away from Earth's orbit, Captain Thrax sat in the silent, somber glow of his bridge, his mind heavy with the weight of everything that had transpired. The galaxy had shifted on its axis. What had begun as a mission to subdue a pre-FTL world had ignited a rebellion that would reverberate across Consortium territories for generations. As the luminary reached safe space outside Earth's solar system, a transmission came through from High Chancellor Valen. Her crystalline features were dim, her tone more subdued than Thrax had ever heard. "Captain Thrax, return to Consortium High Command immediately. We need to reassess the implications of this debacle. Earth's defiance has destabilized our influence across multiple systems. The Council is calling an emergency session to address the unrest spreading through our territories." Thrax nodded, though he could sense Valen's reluctance to face the truth. "Yes, High Chancellor, but if I may speak freely, Earth is more than just another rebellious world. Their resistance is a testament to the power of unity and freedom. If we are to avoid further uprisings, we must consider new strategies, ones that allow for respect and cooperation, not just control. Valen's gaze hardened slightly, but she offered no rebuke. The Council will discuss all options, Captain. We cannot afford more losses. The luminary jumped into FTL, and as they journeyed toward consortium space, Thrax found himself reflecting on Earth's resilience and the bonds it had forged with neighboring species. For millennia, the consortium had prided itself on peace through order, stability through control, but Earth had shown that freedom, self-determination, and unity could be just as powerful, perhaps more so. This small blue planet had become a beacon, inspiring entire civilizations to question their place in the galaxy. Several days later, the luminary reached the heart of consortium space. Thrax was summoned immediately to the Grand Chamber of the High Council, where representatives from hundreds of species gathered, their voices buzzing with uncertainty. Thrax could sense the ripple of discontent and fear. The once unshakable authority of the consortium was now in jeopardy. High Chancellor Valen addressed the assembly. Esteemed members of the consortium, we gather in a time of crisis. The events surrounding Earth have not only defied our expectations, but have fueled unrest across our territories. Several planets are openly resisting our influence, rallying behind Earth's example. We must decide the course of our future, lest we lose control of our very existence. A murmur spread through the chamber, some voices filled with anger, others with apprehension. Many had supported the consortium's aggressive stance against Earth, believing that a show of strength would preserve order. But now, the unthinkable had happened. The consortium's greatest military force had been driven into retreat by a species they had deemed primitive. As the council deliberated, a transmission cut through the noise, surprising everyone present. On the main screen, President Kane of Earth appeared, his face resolute but calm. High Council members of the consortium, I come to you with a proposal for peace. We do not seek conquest, nor do we wish to incite further rebellion among your worlds, but we stand firm in our commitment to self-determination, for ourselves and for those who seek it alongside us. The council chamber fell silent as Kane continued. Earth has long endured conflict and hardship, both from within and from outside threats. We understand the toll of constant struggle, but we also understand the value of freedom and cooperation. We propose a new alliance, one based on respect, mutual aid, and shared growth. We do not demand that the consortium dissolve, but that it evolve, to embrace a model that respects the sovereignty of every world under its influence. Valen's gaze narrowed, her crystalline form pulsing with guarded intrigue. President Kane, you speak of peace, yet you've incited rebellion throughout the galaxy. What assurances can you offer that this new alliance would not weaken our unity? Kane's expression remained firm. The consortium's unity was based on compliance, not cooperation. True unity cannot be forced. It must be earned through respect and shared ideals. We offer to form a coalition, a galactic alliance where each species has a voice and the freedom to govern itself. Together we can build a stronger galaxy, one that fosters prosperity without the shadow of fear. The council chamber was filled with hushed conversations as delegates exchanged glances, weighing Kane's words. For the first time, Thrax saw a glimmer of hope in the eyes of his fellow council members. Earth's strength, he realized, was not rooted in its technology or its defenses, but in its ideals. This was a chance for the consortium to evolve, to shed its reputation as a tyrannical force and embrace a future based on collaboration. Valen studied Kane for a long moment, her gaze intense. Then, finally she spoke, her tone carrying a note of reluctant respect. The council will consider your proposal, President Kane. However, know that this transition will not be easy. Old habits and fears run deep, and not all worlds are as unified as yours. Kane nodded, understanding the weight of her words. We are prepared to work with you, High Chancellor, to forge a new path. But let it be known, Earth and its allies will not submit to oppression. We will stand with those who seek freedom. As the transmission ended, Valen turned to the council, her voice clear. We must vote. Do we proceed with the old ways, risking further rebellion and unrest, or do we embrace this alliance, uncertain but full of potential? One by one, council members began to voice their support for the alliance, some reluctantly, others with renewed hope. When the final vote was tallied, the motion passed with a slim majority. Earth's vision of a united, sovereign galaxy had won. In the days that followed, Earth's representatives, led by President Kane and Commander Chen, traveled to consortium territories, meeting with world leaders and easing tensions. The transition was not without challenges. There were those who resisted change, clinging to the comfort of the old ways. But slowly, steadily, the Galactic Alliance took shape, with Earth at its heart. Captain Thrax, now appointed as an ambassador to the Alliance, found himself working alongside humans and members of formerly oppressed worlds, helping to build a new era of cooperation. He marveled at humanity's adaptability and resilience, qualities that had once threatened the consortium, but were now driving a peaceful revolution across the stars. Months later, the first official gathering of the Galactic Alliance took place, with representatives from every world in attendance. As Thrax stood among the delegates, he looked up to see Earth's flag raised alongside the banners of countless species, a symbol of unity born from struggle. In the end, humanity had changed the galaxy not through conquest, but through its unbreakable spirit. Earth's willingness to fight for freedom, to extend a hand to those in need, had forever altered the course of galactic history. Thrax knew that challenges lay ahead. Building a galaxy-wide alliance would be no easy feat, but for the first time, he felt a sense of purpose beyond duty, a hope that together, they could create a galaxy where every world could thrive. As the assembly concluded, Thrax looked out at the gathering, a sense of wonder filling him. Humanity had taught the galaxy that true strength lay in unity and compassion, and he was grateful to have witnessed the dawn of this new era. The consortium was no more, replaced by a coalition that respected each world's right to self-determination. The age of fear and control was over. The galaxy would move forward, and Earth had shown them the way.